18 years. What were you doing 18 years ago in 2007, for those who might not do the math really quickly in their heads? 2007. For those of us who might be challenged to recall vividly what we might have been doing in 2007, let me highlight a few things that occurred that year in terms of key events. That was the year that Apple launched the first iPhone. Then I went back to think, well, gosh, I'm kind of a new gadget person. I probably got one. I didn't get my first iPhone until 2011. So apparently I was a little behind the curve. The tragic mass shootings at Virginia Tech that resulted in 32 fatalities also happened in 2007. And the third event, just to get us into 2007 mindset, is that Nancy Pelosi was elected the first female Speaker of the House. The point is, look around. 18 years was a long time, right? So imagine what it would be like to be unable to stand up straight for 18 years. When I read the story of the bent over woman, I can't help but be conscious and raise my shoulders. It's a good reminder, I think. As someone who holds tension in my neck and back, demonstrated by a recent massage when I was at the beach with my sisters and cousins, and the massage therapist observed, knots, 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 as she massaged my neck and back. I got the sense that might not be typical of everyone that she massages. Felt better afterwards, but I think I might need a massage every day. I can only imagine the depth of chronic pain the bent over woman endured daily. In the gospel that we heard today, which incidentally is one that is never proclaimed on a Sunday in the Roman Catholic Church, the nameless woman was referred to as a daughter of Sarah and Abraham. She is crippled with a condition that leaves her permanently bent over and unable to stand up straight. Jesus' decision to heal her on the Sabbath reinforces his message that people take priority over regulations and rules. We're never told what caused her to be bent over, but what we do know is that trauma lives in our bodies. And Jesus' seeing, touching, and healing dramatically changed her life. Can you see yourself in the bent over woman? Is an internal or external concern weighing you down physically or psychically? If you're feeling burdened or wrestling with multiple issues, select one. Maybe dealing with our jobs, relationships, worries, loss of a loved one, fears for the future, loneliness, ill health, or the aging process. Just like the crippled woman, each of us yearns to be seen, touched, healed, and freed. Remember, the incident highlighted in our gospel occurred during a typical day for Jesus. Jesus was teaching in one of the synagogues. Perhaps today's invitation goes beyond seeing ourselves in the bent over woman to seeing ourselves as capable of healing in our daily interactions. Reflect on a time where a conversation or a turn of events one ordinary day dramatically shifted your perspective, allowing you the freedom to move forward. Realize in those sacred moments when care and courage might take the form of a text, a question, an action, that we literally are Jesus for each other. Two quick illustrations. Last Sunday, Stan and I drove to Charlotte, North Carolina for his cousin Tim's wake and funeral. As a community, we prayed for Tim, who at 65 was diagnosed with a blood cancer, myelodysplastic syndromes, MDS, and he had a bone marrow transplant this past February. What brought me to tears were the stories shared by a niece and nephew about their Uncle Tim, who, despite parenting his 3 adult children, stepped in as a surrogate dad years ago to provide guidance and direction when their dad died. Tim's care was formative as Erin and Danny wrestled with their own grief, navigated challenges, and started families of their own. Second illustration. This one takes us back more than this past week. It actually was 2012. I didn't realize this homily would be really a math lesson, but I think that would be like 13 years. When I initially walked in the doors here at St. Mary Magdalene in Drexel Hill and was welcomed and realized I had found my home, from the beginning, I relished the wisdom that was shared by the community members in homily response, as well as informally before and after liturgy. To this day, that continues. Anyway, one of those community members, and I realize I do this every August, and it's the last time I'm preaching in August, so I'll subject you to it. One of the community members was a man we called Bud, but his name was actually August, as Eileen shared with us in our second reading today. I actually realized that one day when I went to visit him at Bryn Mawr Hospital on my way home from church. And you ever get to the hospital and you go in an entrance and there's a phone, not a person, and you try to find the room the person's in, and you think their name is Bud, and it's August. So that's how I learned. But I was able to find Bud and his wife Cass. And anyway, the point is, every August, I am reminded even more of the profound influence Bud had on my life. So Bud was an extraordinary, unassuming, gentle, humble man whose words listen to your heart that we heard today really captured how he lived. He was one of the founding members of this community. With his wife Cass, but died in November of 2012. So I think I knew him only 8 or 9 months before he passed away. And with his wife, Cass, he often fostered children. 4 decades prior, Bud was, while he was a Vincentian priest, he served as pastor of St. Vincent de Paul Parish in the Germantown section of Philadelphia. Bud was a connector. And he didn't do it with a lot of fanfare. He just did it in his quiet, unassuming, very Bud-like way. He was gifted to be able to see into people's hearts. Bud knew that I was wrestling at the time with whether to pursue ordination. And I stopped to visit him in October before flying out to Colorado for a coaching workshop. And I will forever cherish Bud's last 3 words to me. They were, "Go for it." A wisdom message each of us might choose to internalize. We don't always get the healing that we desire, certainly when we desire it. Message to Marianne Geske, maybe even Polly. The things that cripple us stay with us, as do the moments we are freed from what cripples us and holds us back. God bless you all.